When's the last time we've seen a season like Cam Newton's in 2010? I'll answer that for you. Never.
Touchdown! Up and over. Touchdown! Cam Newton from 1 yard out. 12-0.
Cam Newton spent 1 year as an Auburn Tiger and accomplished more than most players do in their entire careers. He delivered one of the greatest comebacks in Iron Bowl history, brought a national championship to a team with almost no pro talent, and cemented himself as one of the most dominant forces college football has ever seen. He did all that in just 1 year. 2010 Cam was not human and delivered a one-of-a-kind season that words can't even describe. You had to see it to believe it, but don't blink, you might miss him. Before the legend, there was a promise. Cam Newton was a 5-star quarterback at Florida, the heir to Tim Tebow's throne. He was destined for greatness. But on November 17th, 2008, that promise collapsed. A stolen laptop, a panicked decision. The charges were eventually dropped, but the damage was done. Combined with his academic issues and a spot on the depth chart, his career in the big time was over. Instead of choosing to work at McDonald's, Cam chose the football equivalent. Blinn College, Brenham, Texas, population 16,000. This wasn't a step back, it was football purgatory. No scholarship luxuries, just painted bleachers and the Texas heat. He was isolated, left to question if he ever play on a Saturday again. But isolation often reveals character. Newton didn't just survive at Blinn, he dominated. 2,833 yards, 22 TDs, and the NJCAA National Championship. Suddenly, the outcast was the most wanted man in college football. Oklahoma wanted him, Mississippi State wanted him, but Cam knew he had only 1 year to rewrite his story, one shot to make it to the NFL. He needed more than just a starting job. He needed a team that was ready to win now, and he found it in the plains of Alabama. Auburn had a veteran-loaded roster with 22 returning seniors, a team that was built to win, missing just one piece. A quarterback. It was the perfect fit. The gamble was made. The decision was final. But in choosing his destiny, he had unknowingly made a powerful enemy. This was a convergence of talent, controversy, and circumstance, about to unleash 14 games of unprecedented dominance. Auburn fans will tell you they knew something special was happening the moment Cam Newton took his first snap in Jordan-Hare Stadium. But I don't think anyone, and I mean anyone, was ready for what they were about to witness. September 4th, 2010, Arkansas State. After a year in football purgatory, this was it. His one shot.
Throws down the sideline, wide open, touchdown. Pops back, avoids the pressure. He's got some real estate. Makes the McKinnon. And Newton to run with a lot of green grass in front of him. Peter, touchdown. Throw, looking, and by touchdown, Auburn.
While Cam was putting up video game numbers, the rest of college football was asking the same question. Who the hell is this guy? This dude was shaking off defensive linemen and running past DBs as a quarterback. But that was a tune-up. 5 days later, he would face his first real test, an SEC opponent on the road at night. This is Mississippi State, the same team that Cam rejected just months earlier. Clinging to a 3-point lead late in the fourth quarter, Auburn's offense stalled. The crowd was going insane. This is it. This was the moment the JUCO transfer was supposed to fold under the pressure of SEC primetime. Cam made the wrong choice choosing Auburn. Instead, he responded.
Well, back to Newton. It's up there a long time and a great block. And Newton's got a bunch of room to run. Big Cameron Newton hit the backfield. He won't get it. It's blocked. off again to the outside, and again, Auburn's defense makes the stand.
It wasn't flashy, but a win is a win. A gritty, hostile environment win that proved he belonged. But in surviving that test, he had solidified himself as the one that got away, for now. But a gritty win on the road doesn't erase years of history. Any long-suffering Auburn fan knew the script. You get your hopes up, you start to believe, and then on the biggest stage, when the lights are the brightest, the team folds. It was a pattern. A curse. This team hasn't won a championship in 53 years. So when College game day came to town for week 3 against Clemson and Auburn immediately went down 17-0, every fan in that stadium felt that familiar, sinking feeling in their stomach. This was it. This was the moment it all falls apart. The moment the dream dies. But this Auburn team had an alien.
Third down, gonna go deep middle. Newton off a play. Here comes the end around, the handoff. Got the first down. Account for number 2. Gonna fire to the end zone, to the corner of it. Touchdown.
Fake by Cam. Now he's going to go deep to Zachary. He's there. 5. Touchdown, Auburn!
Auburn wins it in overtime.
He had the arm of a cannon and the heart of a lion. That comeback win put the entire country on notice. And from there, he just started stacking up bodies, proving he could win in every way imaginable. 334 yards of total offense and 5 total TDs against South Carolina, followed by an absolute obliteration of ULM, where Cam had to only throw the ball 19 times to beat them 52-3. He could outgun you in a high-flying shootout. He could embarrass you in an absolute demolition, but to become a legend, there was one more style he had to master. What do you do when the game is tied? The clock is bleeding out, and 70,000 enemy fans are screaming for you to make one mistake. And in Lexington, Kentucky, we got our first look at just how cold-blooded this alien could be. Fourth quarter, game tied at 34. Auburn gets the ball with just minutes left.
Newton fires complete. Newton keeps it himself this time. Otis had 3. Newton keeps it himself.
He's the only back there.
And the Cardiac Tigers continue to get it done.
He could beat you with his arm. He could beat you with his heart. He could beat you with his mind. He had proven he was the best player in the country.
Oh my gosh.
But now he was about to face the best defense in the country. LSU, ranked 6th in the nation. This wasn't just another opponent. It was a collection of future first-round NFL talent, led by Patrick Peterson, the best corner in America. They were a laboratory-built monster designed for one purpose: to stop Cam Newton. And their plan was working. It looked like they had finally found the kryptonite. They were holding Superman in a phone booth. Third quarter, game tied 10-10. It felt like the first team to blink would lose.
Up the middle. No, I'm sorry. Goes right. Still loose.
Oh, did he accelerate? Oh my goodness!
Touchdown, Auburn! Why not? Touchdown. Newton back, draw play, designed all the way, and he's got a lot of room. In football. No my. Stiff arm. 10. Newton White gets a great block. He gets another one. Newton, Carnell Hatcher, he gets by him.
They call it the Heisman moment for a reason. He became just the second SEC quarterback ever to rush for 1,000 yards in a season, and there were still 4 games left. He had conquered every challenge on the field. He was on top of the world. But then the world came to a screeching halt.
We had got a letter from the NCAA that they were going to launch this investigation.
At this point, Cam Newton is Cam Newton. He's led Auburn to an undefeated record when no one expected Auburn to be undefeated. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this bombshell drops.
Cameron Newton's
involving Cam Newton.
with Cam Newton.
It was a true bombshell, being accused of being bought and paid for during the season.
Cam's father, Cecil, was being accused of accepting a six-figure payment so that his son could go to Auburn before NIL was a thing. And immediately, it became a massive story. The NCAA was investigating. The FBI was investigating. The national media had descended on Auburn, Alabama, digging for anything that could disqualify him. Reporters were arriving unannounced to the Newton household, asking for bank records. This wasn't just football pressure anymore. This was legacy-defining pressure, the kind that shatters careers before they begin. Any normal 21-year-old would have folded under the weight of an ongoing investigation involving his family. The entire world was watching, waiting for him to do just that against Georgia.
Has it. Drills it in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. McKinnon fires it. Wide open. Burns. Cameron Newton. Seconds and goal. Here's Newton. But he was across the plane. It's a touchdown.
You want to know what separates the great ones from the legends? It's this. When the pressure should break you, that's when Cam Newton played his best football. He followed up the Georgia demolition by catching a touchdown and hanging 51 points on Ole Miss, and then another 62 and 5 TDs on Chattanooga for good measure. The more the world tried to discredit him, the more he destroyed every team in his path. But nothing he had faced in the SEC so far could prepare him for the final trial of the regular season. Bryant-Denny Stadium, November 26, 2010, the Iron Bowl. Let me paint you a picture of what it's like walking into Bryant-Denny Stadium as the visiting team. 100,000 screaming Alabama fans, defending national champions, a team that hadn't lost at home in 2 years. But on this day, they weren't just trying to win a football game, they were trying to break Cam Newton. During Auburn's walkthrough, their final quiet preparation before the game, Alabama's stadium crew starts blasting music through the speakers. Not just any music. First, Take the Money and Run by the Steve Miller Band. Then, Son of a Preacher Man. Cecil Newton, Cam's father, is a preacher. This wasn't football. This was psychological warfare. And for the first half, it looked like it was working. Alabama came out possessed. Mark Ingram running wild. Greg McGlory was picking apart Auburn's defense. The Tide jumped out to a 21-0 lead before Auburn could even blink. At this point, Vegas had Alabama as a 99% favorite to win. ESPN's win probability meter was basically just a bar colored Alabama crimson. Auburn looked dead. Cam looked rattled. The pressure, the scandal, the crowd, the music, it had all finally caught up to him. The monster was finally mortal. But then right before halftime, the entire momentum of the season changed on a single play.
30, stumbling at the 20, ball knocked out from behind. It's a touchback, it'll go back to Auburn.
We still coming, we coming. Goes deep, got a man open, touchdown, Auburn.
It was still a blowout, but something had shifted. In the locker room, there was no panic, no big speech, just a quick message from Coach Gene Chizik.
Get the ball, take the sucker down and score, make it a 10-point game, and we'll change this thing. It's that simple. So let's go play, let's go.
And in the second half, the psychological warfare started working the other way.
Makes the catch, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Auburn! 70 yards!
McElroy hit as he lets it go. Newton fires it out to McCaleb. Newton has it. Touchdown, Tigers. Being chased and driven out of bounds. A.J. McCarron's hook. No.
Cam takes the snap. Looking for the receiver. He's got Lutz and Kirkland. Touchdown Auburn! Touchdown Auburn!
The largest comeback in Iron Bowl history, the biggest blown lead Alabama had ever suffered at home. His final numbers: 216 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 39 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. But those numbers don't tell the story. This wasn't just a comeback, this was a statement. All week, they questioned his character. They played those songs, they tried to get in his head, and Cam Newton responded by orchestrating the greatest comeback in the rivalry's 117-year history. After the game, an Alabama fan was asked what happened. His response? With the Iron Bowl conquered, Auburn was 12-0. They had survived the SEC gauntlet, survived the media circus, and were now just 1 game away from playing for a national championship. All that stood in their way was South Carolina in the SEC title game. But as the team prepared for the biggest game of the season, the storm that had been brewing behind the scenes was about to make landfall. The NCAA had finally reached a verdict on their months-long investigation. The SEC championship wasn't just another game, it was a trial. Just 4 days before kickoff in Atlanta, the news broke. His season was over. Auburn's dream was dead. The entire college football world believed the story had come to a crushing, definitive end. But then, under immense public and legal pressure, the NCAA reversed their decision. He was cleared to play, saying they could never find any actual evidence of the illegal payment. And of course, that only made things worse. The entire saga, the investigation, the ruling, the reversal, it all came down to this. South Carolina was standing in the way, and they were about to witness his anger unleashed.
From the Carolina 13, Cam to throw, looks right. Looking all day to throw. Now finally dumps it off. Oh, McKennon's got it! He's in! From the 2 yards. Become a factor.
That's his 19th rushing touchdown of the season. Good protection. Darvin Adams wide open. He'll stroll in for the score. To the right side.
Throws it deep downfield into the end zone.
Cam Newton.
Tipped up and caught! It's caught! Darvin Adams off the deflection! Touchdown Auburn!
That was a message to the NCAA, to the media, to everyone who doubted him. He wasn't just playing for a title, he was playing for his legacy and subscribing to Gridiron. He had done it. He had conquered the SEC. He had silenced the NCAA for the time being. Years later, the NCAA investigation would later be revealed to be started by Mississippi State's head coach and his wife out of jealousy that Cam didn't select their school. He was vindicated. But there was still one more mountain to climb. One final test. The national championship. Auburn versus Oregon, a 53-year championship drought on the line. But this wasn't going to be another highlight reel game. This was different. This was for everything. Oregon's game plan was simple. Make someone other than Cam Newton beat you. And for 58 minutes, it was working. He was getting battered, bruised, and held in check. It looked like the perfect strategy as the game was tied 19-19 late until the moment it didn't matter.
The freshman is wrestled down at the 46-yard line. Pleasant, and he gets back up. Dyer gets back up. Was he not on the ground? Did he stay on top of Pleasant? The Ducks are saying, wait a minute, he was down.
There it is. The kick is up. The kick is good. Auburn wins. 22-19.
After the game, Cam was asked about his journey. His response saying, quote, anything is possible. I guarantee you 5 or 6 months ago, nobody would have bet their last dollar to say that Auburn University would be winning the national championship. He was right. Nobody would have bet on Auburn, but they definitely should have bet on Cam Newton. That Superman celebration wasn't just a touchdown dance, it was a prophecy. Because in 2010, Superman didn't wear a cape. He wore number 2. And college football will never, ever ever see anything like it again. Championship teams are built with NFL talent, not seniors on the roster. Every team that Cam would beat this season had players that would become household names in the NFL. Patrick Peterson, Julio Jones, Dante Hightower, Tyrann Mathieu. This list could go on forever. While he believed in his teammates, the reality was this. The only player on offense drafted from 2010 Auburn who would ever start an NFL game was Cam Newton himself. He was surrounded by guys who wouldn't even make an NFL practice squad, and he dragged them week after week to a perfect season. Some things aren't meant to be replicated, they're just meant to be remembered. And speaking of quarterbacks who took their teams to the biggest stage, you're going to want to watch this video next.